From MNT-EC, the Micro Nanotechnology Education Center, this is Talking Technicians, the podcast about technicians, who they are, what they do, and where they come from. I'm your host, Peter Kazarnoff. Each episode, you'll meet a working technician and hear their story. That means interviews with real technicians about real jobs. At the end of each episode, I'll suggest actions you can take if you want to become a technician too. We want to inspire you to take action and pursue the career of your dreams. In this episode, you'll meet Martin De La Fuente. Martin works at Medtronic in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area of Minnesota. Martin, welcome to Talking Technicians.
Hello, Peter. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad you're here too. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where do you live and how long have you been there for?
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, my name is Martin De La Fuente. I'm originally from Mexico. I moved to the United States when I was 15. And maybe for those who make the math, they can do the math correctly. I've been here about 20 years. So you figured out about my age. But I came from Mexico and settled in Minnesota. So I've always lived in Minnesota, directly from Mexico. I think Minnesota is it's a cool place. I can tell you a little bit about Minnesota. It's probably not for everyone. The climate changes very drastically. Winters are long, but summers are great. So you can see the seasons and maybe not for everybody. There's a lot of outdoors activities. So I love it here. So it's been quite interesting to compare when I was in Mexico and looking at the movies or watching movies and then coming here. It's actually just like the movies. But again, everybody's outdoors and people that love cities, like my brother went back to Mexico City because he didn't like it here. So Minnesota may not be for everybody, especially the very cold temperatures.
And do you live with a family right now in Minnesota?
Yeah, my family, I have my parents here, my brother, and I have a little family on my own. I have 2 children. They're 7 and 5, which it's quite challenging, but at the same time, very rewarding. They're a very cool age where they can have conversations with me. They interact as adults sometimes, but yet still kids. So it's quite interesting that interaction with them. They currently go to an Spanish immersion school. So it's also very interesting to trying to cope with American culture and then sort of teach them our, Mexican culture, if you will. So that also has a very cool dynamic.
Awesome. So tell me about where you work. What's your job title and what do you do day to day at work?
My current title, I'm a manufacturing engineer. I work at a medical device called Medtronic. And my day-to-day work varies a lot, but mainly is to solve problems, whether it is with the process, whether it is with equipment, whether it is coming up with different solutions to address those two. And it involves a lot of technology and knowing a lot of the technology that it's out there to improve or solve those problems. And sometimes to solve those problems, you need to use the technology and the technology that's new to address those problems. So have to keep up with the technology from that aspect. My day-to-day basis, like I said, it changes depending on the problem. It can be process related when it's very dependent on people. It's where it's the most interesting because you do seek the technology to try to address and you can't never move away from the human factor, which makes it challenging. But that would be my day-to-day activities, trying to solve problems and working in teams to figure those things out.
And when you started as a technician, how much money did you make?
As a technician, It ranges somewhere between 18 to 25. It all depends on your skill set. It also depends on the area, right? I mean, there are different kinds of technicians. There are technicians that are production, just production support, and there are technicians that are projects. Depending on the area too, if you're just giving maintenance to equipment, you may do a little bit less. If your expertise are in lasers and something more technical, then your rates go up. Include, even if you are starting or just graduating, the ranges around that.
And were there opportunities to advance in your company if you started as a technician?
Well, definitely much so. I mean, as a technician, you can be technician 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have such a wide a range of activities. Like I said, you may start as a maintenance technician or a technician that specializes in specific technology. As I mentioned, some of which we are lasers, right, or even automation and electricians, are more of a mechanical and electrical. From there, then you can continue to grow and mentor others and share your knowledge. Then you potentially can get projects, and then it's a good combination, because then if the more you know and the more experience you get, then you can work with engineers and speak that technical language and go back and forth, and it becomes a very, very good and very cool duo that you develop.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you become a technician? Did you have any work experience or education experience before you became one? No.
The way it happened, yes and no. The way it happened was through school. You learn as much as you can. I got the opportunity. The opportunities come. You do have to gain some sort of experience. But the experience that I gained was through school, and then looking for internships. Internships are very, very critical, because that's the way to learn. That's the way you gain experience. And not only as a technician, as an engineer, as anywhere in the field that you may be interested in. Those internships are what will gain you that experience that will help you continue that journey, develop that path. But I started with no experience, got very interested, how to pay attention, obviously, to school, to the material, making sure that I was set to know and perform to the expectations for a job. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started. And then the internships was what got me there. And then once you start building your resume based on those experiences, then even though you just graduated, you can put that on your resume, and then companies or people that are hiring see that, and then they obviously that puts your resume on top of others.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you went to school. What level of school? Like after high school, what did you do next?
After high school, I attended to a community college. Didn't know what I wanted to do really, and I thought that it was a very good option for me. Went to a community college. I played very competitive soccer there while I figured out what I wanted to do. I play my sport, and then while I do that, I can figure things out. I did figure out I wanted to go into the technical field. I attended the nanotechnology program at my community college located in Rosemount, Minnesota. And from there, took me about 2 years to graduate. I did some internship as a technician, doing some cool stuff with nanolithography and helping clarify some processes and how to make them better, what worked, what not. So that was the internship there. And then realizing that I loved what I was doing and the technical field. And then I decided, well, I would like to continue my education. So I attended the University of Minnesota and got myself a bachelor's degree. My bachelor's degree is in manufacturing operations management. But the emphasis that I have for that particular degree is really, really technical. So with the combination of both, I was able to land a job as an engineer.
What was something unexpected about being a technician that you only learned about once you started working? What didn't you expect that you encountered once you started?
That's a very interesting question. And especially for the young crowd, I thought being younger, I thought that as soon as I was going to finish school, I was going to know a lot. Meaning, and I did. But if somebody asked me something, I was under the misconception that I would be able to solve it and have answers in my head right away, which was not the case. You realize that you do need that knowledge, but normally when you're in a work environment, or you're a technician, you have to figure things out. You have to use the knowledge that you acquire through school and apply it. But if those problems were not there, right? If the problems were easy, then they wouldn't be there, So those problems are unique as they are. So that's what I learned. I learned that going into the workforce, it's a challenge because not everything is written down. You basically have to figure it out, have to be able to use your knowledge. And sometimes people will guide you. Sometimes they won't because they can't guide you. So it's your job to figure it out. And as a technician, as an engineer, both, you have to figure things out, which is what I love about my job.
And what advice would you give either current students or people who want to transition their careers and become technicians?
One of the advices I would give is continue to read, continue to keep up with the technology. There are so many opportunities out there. Learn how to get the answers and make sure that as the technology continues to advance, how are you able to make that connection of that new technology and apply it to the concepts or the things that you need? So for the people that are trying to transition, I would say you really have to like what you do, and you have to know that as a technician, you are going to have to solve problems. And so if you like problem solving and things along those lines, you like technology, continue to go that route, but you have to keep working at it because technology continues to grow, to evolve. So you have to keep up with it. So that would be my 2 cents. If you're going to make that transition, continue the growth, your career growth.
And to finish out, are there any resources or links that we should share in our show notes?
Well, from my personal contact info, you can contact me through LinkedIn. That'd be the most professional way to go about it. Martin de la Fuente. And if I can be of help, I love to help and guide and coach and all that fun stuff, because also the things that I've learned is that the more I am able to help and coach, sort of teach, if you will, I learn more. And that's good for me, because then I can continue to have that information ingrained in me, and learning from others too, and looking at other perspectives and other views. It helps you, or helps me in this case, broaden my point of view, and then I can see things differently too, and then get ideas. it's all about the feedback and how we grow as a community, as a group. So, I mean, I would share my LinkedIn if people would like to connect. I'm happy to help.
Well, thank you, Martin, and thank you for sharing your story on Talking Technicians.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could be here.
This podcast is produced by MNT-EC, the Micro Nanotechnology Education Center, through financial support from the National Science Foundation's Advanced Technological Education Grant Program. Opinions expressed on this podcast do not necessarily represent those of the National Science Foundation. Join the conversation. If you're a working technician or know someone who is, reach out to us at info@talkingtechnicians.org. We are always looking out for great guests to share more stories with you.